Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are back after a little bit of a kerfuffle involving my my computer, but fingers crossed it's doing okay now. So let's get going. You have the little by little event again. I'm going to say we'll make Frenches of them yet. It's just the same as last time. And let's get started. So we are currently working on expanding our explosives industries right now, and that's all we're currently doing. But I actually want more engines because I want to try to get standard of living up by going to public trams, and public trams costs engines. Is that actually? I might not need that. What is the price of transportation look like in my market right now? We're mostly good to go. There are definitely some places where I could use public trams, but I don't know. It could definitely be useful. It could definitely be useful. At least in the metropole, it would be good to have them. So, and then, of course, there's gas streetlights. Interesting. Gas streetlights adds infrastructure and reduces transportation. That's really interesting. Reduces glass and steel inputs and adds a coal input. That's extremely curious. Again, maybe we'll just do that for the metropole. And that'll be how we'll handle it. I think... On the other hand, I could just electrify the areas. That's going to cost me even more. So, I need to make an electrification plan. Actually, we're going to go ahead and do that. Revolution in North Germany... It is Mecklenburg. Alright, I don't necessarily pay attention to that. So, how much is this going to cost from a power perspective? It's going to cost 8.74 electricity in Oran. Is there anywhere I have a level 1? Ivory Coast. Alright. 2.85. That can't be right. Bananas. Oh well. Alright. And then each power plant is gonna produce 50 electricity so far. So, it's gonna be 1 for every 13 levels, right? So Provence is gonna need 2. Nope. I am wrong. It's gonna be less. It's gonna be 1 for every 20 levels. So Normandy is going to need 2 power plants. Yeah, there we go. Normandy actually might need 3. Because it would technically have a shortage. But most places are going to need 2. So Rhône will probably need 2. It might be every 15. Actually, I think it's going to end up being essentially every 15. So where do we have multiple levels of urban centers? Normandy, Rhône. We'll do 2 each in French Low Countries and Languedoc. Normandy, Rhône, French Low Countries, Languedoc. Now, where is Languedoc down here? Two in Alsace-Lorraine, 2 in Brittany. We'll do 2 in Burgundy and... No, we'll skip 2 in Burgundy. We can do that later. So, Brittany, Alsace-Lorraine, Aquitaine, and Ile-de-France. Burgundy, Alsace-Lorraine, Aquitaine, and Ile-de-France. Burgundy's already got 2. Alsace-Lorraine, Aquitaine, and Ile-de-France. And everywhere else is going to get 1 I built 2 in Picardy. 1 level. That was dumb. Alright. Da-da-da-da. Show me your power plants. You only get 1 of them. And then 1 in all of the other zones. Brittany's gotta have a big ol' urban center at this point, right? Yeah, Brittany definitely needs to. Just doing a quick check, making sure I haven't missed any zones. Alright. That'll be just fine. So that's going to be a bunch of construction. Let's go ahead and get... We'll actually do a port in French Low Countries to give them a little bit of extra infrastructure. That'll get done fast. Alright, moving right along here, we have an event. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Elie Vignard, leader of the industrialists, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of compulsory primary schooling. Making an appearance before the public in Paris' main square, Elie Vignard's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from his speech are already being circulated across the Kingdom of France, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. This should ease the path to reform greatly, 15% enactment chance. Or performances like this reflect well on Vignard and his cause. 10% enactment chance, but 25% popularity for him and 5% interest group attraction for the industrialists. I don't necessarily need interest group attraction for the industrialists, so I'm going to go with the first one to give me additional percentage. Oh, Nordestino people. Nordestino, not Nyo. There's no wiggy woo on top of the end there. Are immigrating from Brazil. Nice. So, let's take a look at things. We have this event. We need to develop an Amazonian state with a bunch of rubber plantations. We only have the 1, or a level 2 urban, and a level 2 urban center. So let's go ahead and queue that in, because we can get a ton of rubber out of Guyana. They've already got a level 2 urban center, and Guyana does have the Amazon rainforest. Yes, here we go. Perfect. There we go. There's the war concluded. Now, does this need to be incorporated? No, it does not. Alright, perfect. So that should be just fine. So what do we want to do next? We've got a lot of trade agreement with New Grenada. Absolutely, New Grenada. I would love to have a trade agreement with you. Would you like to be my protectorate? It's going to be 28.7 infamy. That might be a giant mistake. Actually, though, let's talk about oppressing the Prussians. If we reduce their autonomy, it would only be 19.5 infamy. There's only a 25% chance. Base impact. Expected military power differences. Interesting. Let's go ahead and expand our armies a little to make sure that we can do that without a problem. So first corps, we'll go ahead and throw... We're bringing it to 50, 25, 10. So we need 8 additional levels here. Nine levels of artillery. And what the heck, we'll do an additional 5 levels of cavalry. Actually concerned that we're a little short on infrastructure in a lot of different areas. So let's build up some more railways. We got one in construction in Mananju already. But let's build another, because that one's pretty short. And we need one in Burgundy as well. So we'll throw those at the top of the tree. How's the explosives market doing? Explosives are getting cheaper. Very good. Alright, so that should be helping overall. Engines are still pretty pricey, but that's all right. Next, we'll do the Armée d'Afrique, and let's throw some barracks into North Africa. We'll do bring it up to 40, 20, and 10. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many more do we need? That's 40. All right. 4 levels of artillery. Actually, we need more artillery. And then 1 more unit of lancers. We'll put them here. Third Corps, we can expand up to another 40, 20, and 10 army. It's going to be a really significant increase in infantry. Let's go to Poitou-Saintonge. Bunch of levels there. It's going to be military territory. And a few in the hinterlands. 10 additional levels of artillery. 5... Oh, no, can't do in Provence. Almost no labor available there. Do 5 in Aquitaine and 5 in Menajou. And then 5 levels of lancers in Menajou. And 5th French Army can stay the same. And we'll do a small increase to the 3rd Corps as well. 5. 5. 5, 5, 5, and 5. That's actually a massive army increase. I just queued in, but I think it's going to be worth it. How slow are these going to build? Oh, they're going to be just fine. And I think I actually want to knock those right out. I want to get those done really fast. So I don't know if there's any such thing as really fast when we're talking about a million. I definitely should have put the stuff on the other end at the bottom rather than queuing all of this stuff at the top. I'm just used to doing it this way. Parakian bourgeois revolt. I'm in the middle of queuing buildings. All right, let's pause and stop being silly about this and handle all the stuff we've got to handle. Put those at the top. All right, Parakian military revolt. That's fine. We'll send the 5th French Army to deal with it. You guys can go to the Malaya front. Everything will be well. Pen and paper. The enactment of compulsory primary schools come to a halt due to some public protests. Many are the families that lack the purchasing power to meet the expenses that buying new school supplies imply, thus preventing their children from scholarization. Listen, no parent would try to stop their child from getting a better future than the one they'll be getting here, but if I need to make a decision and that decision's between buying bread and buying some pen and ink, then I'd say that ain't no fair decision. Wealth cannot be a prohibiting factor, huge bureaucracy penalty, or we cannot devote even more public funds, minus 10% enactment chance. But this is only till the end of this. I'm going to click this, and that's going to cost us some cash, but we'll be able to offset that, I think, in time. In time, it will not matter. Our finances are very strong right now, and we've got plenty of a buffer. In fact, where are we vis-a-vis our gold reserve? We're right about there. We can afford to drop taxes, even. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. We're doing fine. We're doing fine exactly where we want to be. Let's go ahead and grab one of our navies and send them to the area as well, just in case we end up needing to do a naval invasion. All right. Yeah, we're building a ton of barracks right now. We are actually eventually going to need to correct this, but hopefully we'll be able to get compulsory primary schooling done before it happens. We got about 90 days per turnover here, so I'm hoping it's not going to cost us too much in construction of new government buildings. I may need to demand that my puppets modernize at least a little bit in order to continue to function. Rubber and Volta, that means a new Rubber Rush event. I'm going to do the same thing I always do. As you might have guessed, we're going to get that event a lot of times. As you can also see here, these barracks are getting built crazy fast. Everyone is neutral in the revolt diplomatic play, which is just fine with me. I wonder how much longer Prussia is going to be funding our government. We're still... Let me see. We're going to go down by 121k. By 242k. So we are going to need to increase taxes when that happens. But for now, we're enjoying all these sweet, sweet loyalists. There's the revolt popping off. Ah, Claude Pigeon retires. A sour truth. Given the low wages that workers in French Togo are receiving, more and more parents are pushed to send their children to work to help sustain their families. This is madness. How are we supposed to help these people if they themselves are forcing their children to work? We must do something. Put an immediate halt to this barbaric decision. Well, it seems quite obvious that this is not something that they would want for their children, for their own children, if they had other options, right? Judging these poor people based on their survival decisions won't help them either. We must stop this. 50% chance of 10% enactment chance, 50% chance of 20% enactment chance. Catholic Church mad, lower stratum pops in French Togo radical. Interesting. How does the Catholic Church feel about us? They're pretty pleased overall. Or they do what they need to do. 50 armed forces a little mad. 50% chance of 10 enactment chance, 50% chance of nothing. I'm going to go with the first one. I'm okay with... The Catholic Church is very pleased with me right now. And I've been doing right by them throughout the course of this. Nice. Got the 20%. Alright, so hopefully we'll be on our way to that being done for sure. We got a battle going on here. I'm not really worried about this front, but I just wanted to... I think actually we just cleared it out just now, so that should be just fine. We can bring Escadre du Nord back to France. And let's go ahead and queue in... I am going to need more government buildings, actually, to sustain my expansion of the education system, which is the thing we're doing this whole... increase in education, compulsory primary schooling thing to do. So we'll go ahead and get those queued up. Barracks are building very nicely. Obviously this is going to be a giant project, but you know how it is. Actually, I think on account of these are money, I'm going to queue down the power plants. And put the government sectors in front. In fact, I'm actually going to put the rubber plantations up top in front of them. None of this stuff is perfect. And we are just going to have to live with doing some of this manually. As you can see, we've gotten through the barracks really, really fast, because building barracks is really fast. Hell on earth. Workers at the rubber plantations in Guyana are being severely mistreated. Mutilation has become a common punishment for perceived failures. They went on to declare that when asked why they had fled, that they had endured such ill treatment at the hands of government officials and the government soldiers in their own country that life had become intolerable, that nothing had remained for them at home but to be killed for failure to bring in a certain amount of rubber or to die from starvation or exposure. or from exposure in their attempts to satisfy the demands made upon them. We cannot slow down production. 10% mortality. Ooh, don't want that. Let's launch an inquiry into the conditions of the plantations. It's pretty low overall. So I'm not really concerned. So, we've gotten absolutely bananas power projection now, although the British still keep trying to rush up ahead of us. These armies are continuing to expand weekly. There we go. Hey, law progressed to consideration, finally. Wonderful. These armies are continuing to increase in size. So once our army expansion is finished, I'm going to go ahead and take another look at how... Let's see how it looks now. 55%. Alright. So maybe we'll do it, and maybe we'll just tolerate it. We got the expand the rubber industry event, so let's see what that is. The recent expansion of the rubber plantations in Guyana has yielded extremely promising results. The Kingdom of France threatens to lead the world in rubber production. The question is not what can be done with rubber, but rather what cannot be done. There's no end to its potential utilization. It will surely become the foundational material of the modern world. Our finest minds are developing new applications for this versatile material. We need more rubber, 50% migration traction, and 33% rubber plantations throughput in Guyana. Or, what other uses could we find for rubber? 4.15k progress on vulcanization. Ooh, this is a tough decision. I think I'm going to go with migration attraction, though. I like having migration attraction in Guyana. That's going to really increase things. How long is it going to take? It's going to take 10 years to incorporate. If I incorporate this territory, which I'm inclined to do, actually. ENTs as well. But I don't have the bureaucracy for that right now. I'm going to get a little of it back. Hopefully we'll have a few more good rolls with compulsory primary schools here. We got 75% chance of a success, so I'm hoping that ends up putting us where we want to be. Armies are still increasing in size. Do I have... relation? Can I see unemployed and peasants? We're doing pretty well overall, and military wages are stupid high, so I should still be getting... These armies should be hiring. We're still on general training. Advanced tactics training takes military statistics, which is in our path. Oh, we're actually working on it right now. Wonderful. We actually didn't need it for trench works, but it is the last tier 3, so it's a good thing to research to make sure that the tier 4s don't cost 1,000,000 points. So, let's see how many battalions. We're still pretty good with our limit here. Yeah, overall doing well. Excellent. There's military statistics, so let's flip over to the advanced training production method. And power plants are getting built. So, let's go ahead and grab the places we've already got power plants and flip them over to having electrified stuff. So, electrified street lighting. So, Lorraine, Alsace-Lorraine, Normandy, and... Isn't there one place we had to? Burgundy. Lorraine, Alsace-Lorraine, Normandy, and Burgundy. I'll go ahead and electrify the streets. Alright, unfortunately we are having another revolt in Indonesia. This one in Perak, we will once again send the 5th Army to handle it. That will be fine. Excellent. The laws progress to adoption, so hopefully that should work out our bureaucracy issue pretty shortly. So the next set is going to be Languedoc, Rhône, French Low Countries. You know what? We'll go ahead and do those as soon as the week ends. French Low Countries. Oh, can't do it yet. Don't have the resources. Well, that's just fine. To subsidize the Suez Canal. Suez Canal produces a bunch of prestige and migration attraction if it's working, but if it doesn't have any population, it's a little hard. This place should be getting... It's got a really high attraction, but pop growth is really low. It's got a lot of unemployment, shockingly. Let's go ahead and build something here. Maybe some tooling workshops. Good solid employment. There's Low Countries. Rhône. And Languedoc. Nope, not quite. Not quite in Languedoc. There we go. Now we got it. I think we're going to get there in time. I should really station this army in Southeast Asia. I think that might be the better call. Really hoping we get a pass here so that I can not have to deal with this whole situation. And then we'll see where we are. We're going to need 1,000 bureaucracy to get education up another 2 levels. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to really increase our maximum innovation. Hey, there's vulcanization. Wonderful. Actually, that's super duper useful. So, there's a new tooling method we can apply. That's going to be really, really useful. And, because we've got rubber in our customs union, we can use that for machine steel tools, and we can use it for luxury clothes. There's the peasant revolt popping off in Kutai. Let me just make sure my units are in the location, and they are. Perfect. But we're going to need more rubber for that, so let's go ahead and build a ton of plantations. Can build a bunch in Volta. Yeah, let's do it. And there's compulsory primary school. Wonderful. So that means I can go ahead and queue in the first level, and I'm going to need probably about 10 more levels of government admin to get the next level, so let's go ahead and do that. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Should be just fine. I might incorporate these North African territories. It's good lands. Might go ahead and do that. Italy still seems quite unhappy with me. Oh my gosh, are we rivals? That was really dumb. I don't need to be rivaling you, Italy. Oh, but I'm going to be over on influence. That's going to damage my prestige. So, Mexico, I don't need to improve relations with you. IT, if I stop bankrolling you, that will save me 100. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And then what am I spending all this on? Customs unions. And improving relations with the USA. You know what? Italy is more important to me than the USA right now. We can focus on USA later. Italy is still concilia towards me, right? Yes. Alright, so that'll be fine. Landowners petition government. Representing his constituents in the landowners, Abel de Portal has issued a formal petition to the French government to pass agrarianism. It's going to tank my legitimacy if I say no. On the other hand, interventionism is really good. If I go to agrarianism, that will make the industrialists extremely salty. But reduce the investment pool contribution efficiency of capitalists. I did kind of sign up for this, though. I think it might... I don't know. I might be making a huge mistake here. It would mean they would mostly build farms and whatnot. If I say no, it costs me 5 legitimacy and makes them a little bit mad. It's better for them to do agrarianism than something else, though. So, I think I'm going to do it. One last matter for the day, sir. Members of your constituency arrived this morning. They're, how do I put it? They're asking rather loudly and insistently if you'd meet with them about new legislation. Is that it? You seem as if you've seen a ghost. I'm sure we can spend the last hours of the light for them, can't I? I think so, sir. They weren't taking no for an answer. We will see what we can do. A good vintage. The wine produced in Rhône has been lauded by sommeliers as outstanding. When people say that something ages like wine, they don't make the distinction between wine and wine. So let me make that distinction. If you can get your hands on a bottle from Rhône, that bottle can be more than just a good time. It can be an investment. Make this an exclusive product for export. Increase production to meet booming demand. I'm going to do the first one. I like prestige. I can definitely afford to reduce taxes a little more. And I did queue in those government buildings, yes. So, go ahead and increase the speed here. And let's go ahead and get started switching to agrarianism. 14% chance of success, 29% chance of advance, 55% chance of debate. So our armies have basically finished their increase. Let's take a look at what... Okay, so it's not even going to tell us what the chance is. We have an obligation on them. And this war will be done pretty soon. How long have we been at this episode? We're actually a little bit over time. We'll see what the force comparison looks like, and if they're likely to say yes, and if not, then we won't do it. But if they are, then we will. Oh, look at that! We're in #1 position, finally. Just barely. But I'm pretty pleased overall. Alright, so how do things look with Prussia? 58% chance. I'm going to try it, and if they say no, then we'll see what happens in future episodes. They have a very small army, actually, and I think they may have just... They're still bankrolling us. No, you know what? I think having them at lower autonomy is going to be better for us overall than the money we're going to get for the next... On the other hand, these bankrolls have lasted a long time. We're on really low taxes and continuing to be on really low taxes. I might just let it ride, honestly. No, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And if this turns out to be a terrible mistake, then it will be what it is. Reduce autonomy? Confirm. They've accepted. Wonderful. That's just perfect. French Prussia. Heck yes. All right. Whew. We did it. With that having been said, though, that's going to be the end of the episode. Friends, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun. And I will see you on the other side.